He would try and break through his bedroom wall with his fist. But the night he tried to kill me, I will never forget. I remember my parents had left for work that day, and I heard my brother muttering behind his bedroom door. He was talking to the voices and was talking about she's not ours and she's evil. I didn't know it was about me, but I was scared to be alone with him, so I just went to my room and locked my door, what my parents told me to do when I was alone with him. We had a nurse stop by during his alone days and he seemed fine, so I didn't think anything of it. When my parents got home, I told them he was talking to his voices again, but they didn't seem worried either. That night, though, I was in my room while my parents were making dinner and my brother knocked on my door. He asked me if he could come in. Out of habit, I kept the door locked. I got up to open it, but I remember feeling uneasy. He had never come to my room, even when he was pre-schizophrenic. He always let me have my space. And even though my brother was battling a mental illness, he was still the same person. He still gave me space. I asked him what he wanted through the door, and he said he wanted to use one of my extra toothbrushes. It seemed harmless enough. I grabbed an open toothbrush package and unlocked my door, and that's when he rushed me. The door flew open and smacked me in the face, and immediately broke my nose and dazed me. I was so stunned that I couldn't register his hands around my neck. I remember very clearly looking up at him, and his face was so red. He was breathing through gritted teeth. His eyes were wild, but he had tears running down his face. I thought it was sweat, but it was tears. I spit blood in his face to get away. His grip loosened, and I pushed him back and ran down the stairs. He tackled me so hard that we both rolled into the kitchen where my parents were. I was screaming, and my parents were in shock. My brother was beating my head against the floor and calling me a traitor and thief. My dad finally tried to get my brother off me, but I will never forget my mother. She said, "Don't. We'll have to call the police. Let's think about this. He'll have to go away." My father still tried to pull me up, but my brother jumped on him. I was crying and screaming. My mother was pacing. I remember my father pleading with my brother to stop. They were about 50 feet away, but then my brothers had turned back to stare at me, and I could tell he was going to charge at me. I pulled a skillet from the drying rack and just arched it back and slammed it across his face. My mother finally screamed when I did that. She finally made a sound. I hit my brother again when he was on the ground. I kept hitting him until my dad pulled me back. I killed my brother. He had a brain bleed and hemorrhaged before he could get to the hospital. I had a broken nose, jaw, fractured eye socket, 3 missing teeth, and a concussion. After everything was said and done, after the funeral, after my face healed, I moved out to live with my aunt and uncle. I told them it was because I didn't want to stay in the house anymore, but it was actually because I couldn't stand to look at my parents. And my parents knew. They knew that if they had to choose, they would choose my brother to be alive. He was their last hope at being happy again. Why didn't they read into the fucking symbolism? Their last chance at being happy was mentally ill and violent. I went to college and never talked to my parents again. My dad sent me an email today and told me that my mom has cancer. I deleted the email. My dad calls me a lot. I know he cares about me, but I haven't spoken to him in 6 years. But I miss my brother. I was thinking of him tonight. It's his birthday and he would have been 30 years old. Thanks for reading.